Hannah here again from Chiropractic and Dr. Keith.
Hi.
Today we're going to take you guys through some really great exercises for trunk stability. We talked last time in the Movement Health Essentials video about the importance of creating trunk tension and stability for your posture every day. So I'm going to take you guys through 4 exercises today that are a staple for me and my clients, especially my stretch clients that suffer with a lot of back pain. So I'm going to run you guys through those 4 exercises with some variations for you, and you can complete these exercises really as much as you want every day. So 2 to 3 times a day, whenever you feel like you're starting to feel that compromised hip position, just to get you stabilized, standing nice and tall, and move on with your day. So the first thing that we're going to run through is just a reminder on how you can create trunk tension. So Dr. Keith is going to get in his stable standing position, almost as if he's going to go do a squat. What he's going to do is he's going to do a posterior tilt to turn those glutes on. So he's going to create tension through the glutes, nice and strong. He's going to place his hands on top of his hip bones, and then as he inhales, he's going to create tension 360 degrees. You can see his hands push out. So he's going to maintain that tension, and he should be nice and tight there, almost as if someone could punch him from all directions. So that's a quick way to create that trunk stability. Really important. You don't want to go and do these exercises if you're just relaxed through the trunk. So, first exercise that we're going to do is a McGill sit-up. And this sit-up was created by Stuart McGill. He's done lots and lots of research on back pain and how to create trunk stability. So we're going to use that exercise to start. And this exercise is geared towards activating the transverse abdominis. So we want to make sure that we're not in this position and that transverse abdominis is turned on, so we're nice and neutral. So Dr. Keith, head down onto the mat there for me. And what Dr. Keith is going to do is he's going to start in a position with one knee up. And it really doesn't matter which side that you do with this. This is just to neutralize the pelvis. But what I usually do is have people do a couple reps with one knee up, a couple reps with the other knee up. What he's going to do is he's going to remember how to create trunk tension, which we just went over, as he uses his breath here. So he's going to start with his hands behind his head. And what he's going to do is, I want you to think, Dr. Keith, if you have a straw in your mouth, as you exhale, you're blowing through that straw. So as you do that, like if you just do it right now, you should feel the lower abs engage, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what's going to happen is, as he goes into the sit-up, we're going to do a partial sit-up, he's going to use that exhale. So I want you to take that exhale, driving your back down into the floor, and your nose and chin are going to lift up towards the ceiling as you take that exhale. Awesome. So you can see here, he's really engaging that transverse abdominis, and he's not crunching, right? Come back down, take an inhale, reset, and let's go again. He's using the contraction of his abs to lift his head and shoulders up off the floor. And that's great. So you guys can run through 3-4 reps on each side. And again, it doesn't really matter where the knees are, but it's just to neutralize that pelvis. So we're going to move on now to the second exercise, which is a bird dog. So we've worked the front part of the trunk. We want to make sure we work the posterior part of the body as well. So he's going to get in his tabletop position. And with tabletop position, we always want to make sure that we have a nice neutral spine, wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. So this position looks really good for Dr. Keith, and he's going to use that same breath. So as he exhales, he's going to think about blowing out through that straw. And as he moves the arm and the leg, everything through the trunk should stay completely still. So we're going to start, Dr. Keith, just with a regression, which is in the tripod position. So both knees are going to stay on the mat and one hand, and you're just going to drive those knees and hand into the floor. Exhale, reach one arm forward. Awesome job, and come down, and let's switch hands. Let's show the other hand, and again, drive those knees into the floor. Lots of tension through the trunk. Great job, and come down. Feel those abs turn on?
Definitely.
Awesome. So next variation of this, we can then add the leg. So this is going to make it a little bit more difficult, and it's going to really challenge the trunk to stabilize as those limbs move. So what he's going to do is Dr. Keith is going to extend the opposite leg back. So as he takes his exhale, nice, full extension of that leg, turn on those glutes, reach that hand, and come in, and let's show that other side. So he's really driving that hand and knee down into the mat to create that tension, breathing out, and come back down. Great work. How are those abs feeling?
Turned on.
Good. So third exercise that we're going to do here is we've worked the transverse abdominis, the back body that supports the spine. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of side trunk flexion. So this is also really important. And we went over that too on our weighted carries in the last video. So I'm going to have Dr. Keith lay on his side. And we're going to start first with the regression. So Dr. Keith, I'm going to get you to bend your knees for me. And we're going to do a modified side plank. So he's going to get his elbow under his shoulder on the forearm. And what we're going to do here, again, I want you to think about how we created that tension, right? So the first thing that's going to happen is those hips are going to extend forward. So we're going to go into hip extension. So he's squeezing those glutes. He's going to open up that chest, nice tall spine, and lift those hips off the floor. And he can even bring one arm up just to create more balance and stability. Again, extending those hips. And ideally, like, we should be able to talk in this position, right? Like, we should be able to have a conversation, and you can see he's still breathing, right? He's not holding his breath. And come back down. Modification for, that's the modification for the next one we're going to do. So a regression of this is with straight arms, straight legs. So we're going to go into, this is called trunk lateral flexion. So what Dr. Keith is going to do is he's going to focus on that same creating tension in the side position, but we're going to bring the arms overhead. He's going to reach those arms, and in this sideline position, he's going to squeeze those legs together and just bring them up off the floor. And you can see here, he's really challenged to maintain that position and breathing through the belly. And the more he lifts up those legs, the more challenge he's got to maintain that position. And this position you can hold, same with the side bridge, and you can come down, Dr. Keith, that's great. You can hold these positions anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds. So start light with 10 seconds, work your way up to 20 seconds. So the last exercise that we're going to do, the fourth exercise, you guys will have seen this in the other videos that the doctors prescribed you guys. We're going to do a dead bug. So this is a super common exercise, great for maintaining trunk tension. So he's going to get on his back, awesome job. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to do kind of the reverse of that tabletop position. So we're going to get arms up over the shoulders, and then knees up over the hips, 90 degrees, that's great. And what I want you to do right now, Dr. Keith, is just exhale and drive your low back into my hand. Awesome job. So you can see he's got that tension right now through the trunk, and we want to maintain this as we breathe. So one variation that we can do, which would be a regression, is we're going to do, so in both modifications of this exercise, we're going to do one arm, one leg, opposite side, like we did with the bird dog. So the first modification, Dr. Keith is just going to bring his legs out into extension, the one leg, and then he's going to come back in. So we're going to add that to the movement of the arm. So he's going to move his left arm back overhead and just extend that right leg. And he's still creating that tension, breathing out as he creates more tension through the trunk. Come back in, and let's show that other side there. Extend that leg. Awesome job, and come up. And you guys want to be cautious too, like don't go too low with that leg where you feel the loss of tension, right? We want to always maintain that tension through the trunk. So let's make that a little bit harder, Dr. Keith, and let's go a little bit lower with the leg now. So exhale. Good, and come back up. And you can see he's got good control, so he can get pretty low while maintaining that position. And other side. Exhale, blow through that straw, and come up. Awesome job, come down. So, how are you feeling?
Good.
Good?
Active.
Yeah. So these exercises are great, you guys, for stabilizing that trunk, and I have many clients, and I know the doctors do too, that do variations of these exercises on a daily basis. And this is something really easy that you can just throw into your routine. I highly recommend doing this when you wake up if you have back pain. So if you try these exercises out, let us know how they go, and stay healthy.